What's going on guys, CasualSavage here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to use Wondershare Filmora 9. Now in the video I'll be covering all of the basics to do with Wondershare. Hopefully everything in this video I cover will help you get started with all of the basics. In the comments below I will have time for each thing I show, so if you want to skip to certain parts, make sure you check the pinned comment. With that being said, if there's anything else specifically you want to see me do in Wondershare, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to do it for you. So here we are on Wondershare Filmora, and when you open it up, this is exactly how it will look like. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is going over everything on screen so you get where everything is and you know what to click when you need it. Now for the moment I'm just going to go over the user interface, so I will be skipping over some things and then I'll be coming back to them later on just to show you how they work and what you can do with them. So starting off over on the top left, here we are already on the media tab, and media tab is basically any audio, any images, any video you want to have on your project, you would simply drag and drop here. Alternatively you can just left click here and then browse a place where you want to get some footage from. So I'm going to take all of this footage here and select open. Notice the video is going to load and they will appear right here. So that's the media tab. Moving on to the audio tab. So here, a great thing about Wondershare, which I really like over other editors, they have built-in audio for you. And the music probably isn't one you would use, however they are non-copyrighted. The main thing I like about it is they have sound effects. So you don't have to spend time going on YouTube finding sound effects. They have the majority of sound effects you need right here for you. And moving on to titles, another great thing I like about Wondershare, there's so many different presets of titles. Now, it just says titles, however there is more than just titles. You can see there's openers, there's titles, there's lower thirds, subtitles and end credits. So for those wondering what lower thirds are, is a thing you see at the bottom left corner of my videos. So you can see right from here, you can simply click one, and then you will simply have it on your video without doing anything else. All in this software is ready for you. Then moving on to the transition tab, another great feature, a lot of other transitions for you to use, and you can also go to Filmora's website to purchase more. However, you probably wouldn't need to. There's a lot of unique transitions here that you won't see anywhere else. Then we go on to effects, of course, which is video effects. Another great thing, they have filters as well as overlays. So you can see you can add some nice cool overlays here, and there's a variety to choose from. And then there is elements. Elements, again, another great thing. So what I like about this, if we scroll down, you can see there's ones with no background. For example, if you want to have an arrow pointing to something, you can select one of these and this arrow will be animated selected to that part. Now, like I said, I will be going in more detail of these things later on. For now, I'm just showing you the user interface. Moving across to the side here, we have our video preview. So this is where the video will play back from. Here we have the backwards keyframe, forward keyframe. We have the play and stop button. Of course, this line here just lets us scrum across our video. Moving over here, we then have the mark in and the mark out. Those familiar with Premiere Pro, I'm sure you're aware of these two things here. Then onto the side, this just tells us where we are on our timeline and how long the video is. We then get control of putting the preview in full screen. So if you select that button, it puts it in full screen. We can control the volume from here if you don't want to control your main volume from here. And then from here you can control the playback quality, the zoom level, and also you can show safe area zones. Now this minus and plus button here controls the timeline, and also you can use a slider here. Another way to zoom in and out of the timeline is coming to the top of the timeline right here, and you'll see these arrows, left click and drag right or drag left. You can see it's super simple like that. Then this button here is zoom to fit timeline. So when you have something in your project, say it's up to here, you press that button, Wondershare will automatically zoom in, so it only cuts off up to here, but it will zoom in. I'll show you that later on anyway. We then have audio mixer, so this is where you get control of your audio. We then have record a voiceover, so for those that record voiceovers, all you do is select that, select your microphone and start recording. And then the final thing here, we have markers. And then jumping over to the left again, starting here, we have the edit options here. We then have a split tool, which you're going to be using quite a lot. You can see the shortcut for that is Control B. We then have the trash tool, not going to be needed if you've got delete on your keyboard. And then we have the backward and the forward button. And of course the final thing here is the main place where everything will happen, which is the timeline. So by default you're going to see a video and an audio track set up for you. And just going over things here, if you press the speaker on the audio, that means it will mute the audio. If you press the I on the video, that means it will hide everything on that track. If you press the padlock, this means anything on that track you wouldn't be able to move, and same for video. And then if you wanted to add more videos or audio layers, you would right click here, and as you can see it says add video or add audio. Another great thing when you're here, you can also adjust the track height. Right from here you can select how you want it. Alternatively, you can just come up to the top of the track and drag and drop individually. However, doing it the other way, right clicking, adjust track height, this will adjust all of the tracks at once. Also another great feature, delete empty tracks. So if you have multiple tracks, and let's say for instance you don't have something on that track, if you right click here, select delete empty tracks, that track will be removed for you. So let's put some videos onto our timeline, and you can see these are the ones we put in at the start. All I'm going to do is press the plus button on them. This will come up and you can just select match to media, because this can always be changed after. But here is the first video we have. So before we go into the settings over here, I want to go back over to the setting I mentioned earlier where you can zoom to fit to timeline, because the explanation probably wasn't the clearest. So if I select it now, this is what I meant. So you can see it's zoomed all the way in to right here. Now there's no audio with this specific video, however you can see underneath the audio track is here. So to adjust the volume, you can see you can left click and drag it down, or you can put it up. 6 decibels is the maximum boost. So I'll be coming back to audio later on. Let's move on to titles, and I'll go to titles here, and let's say for instance we like title 2. All we're going to do is select the plus button. That's going to be added on. Now notice it's underneath and we wouldn't be able to see it because our video is on top. So what we need to do is drag this video down and drag this track on top and just move it across like that. So now we can double click the title here, and now this is where we get control of our text. So a great thing, again, we have a bunch of different presets which we can pick from here, and let's say for instance we like the text style 22, gives us that blue, and you can just type in anything you would like to. That's in place. You also get control of the font you would like to pick from, so you can pick from here, and you can also downsize the font if needed. And of course, instead of just writing it out from here, you can just control it using the corners here, so you can do live editing like that. Another great thing you can see, we get lines to snap it into place, so that tells us it's right in the center. Scrolling down, you get control of the text space. This means the space between each letter. Line space, if you have more than one line of text, you can control that. We can even rotate the text from here if needed. Let's say you rotate it, you mess up, you can always press this button here which reverts it back to normal. We get scale, which is also the same as controlling the size, so it's up to you if you want to adjust it from here. Then we get the compositing mode, blend mode, which is going to be set to normal by default for text, but if you're having overlays for example, this is where you would change it all. Once you're happy with everything, you can then select OK, or you can head over to the top and you can see there's animation. So this is now where we can choose a type of animation we want on the text. So for example, I will pick pixelate. I'm just going to left click it, and now I'm going to select OK. We come to the start and we play this through now. That's what we've just created, and of course we've got the text underneath that we need to edit, which is here. Again, just double click it, type anything you would like to, and again I'm going to add a cross zoom to this one, so you can see it gives us a preview when you double click it. And you can also select the advanced tab here, and to be honest it's the exact same thing that's down here, but you now get access to the drop shadow and also a border. So I'll play through what we've just done. You can see that was in a matter of seconds. Super simple, super quick. We've created a title opener. And moving across to transition. So a bunch of different transitions to pick from, And let's go to lifestyle, for example. There's something called Cool Whisk, and I want this onto my video. Well, I'll have it onto the video. So I'm going to drag and drop this right at the beginning of my video, and you'll notice this white bar has appeared. This is where you get control over the transition. So if I just play it through for now, pretty cool transition we get. If it's too long or if it's too short, just come to the end of the white bar, drag it out if you want it to look longer, drag it in if you want it to be quick. So this is going to be super quick, and then we want it super long. This is now going to be a really slow animation like that. Now same applies to the end of a video as well. So I can drag and drop this to the end of my video and I'll play it through. You can see it does do that same effect, it's just because the video is already fading out. So if I just trim that down, and now we'll see it ends like that. Then moving on to the effects, so another great thing, this is where you get some overlays, this is where you get some filters, and I'm going to add a couple of things here. I like this blue explosion here, so I'm just going to press the plus button to add it to my project. Notice this will be added onto a new video track, not the actual video. So just have that in mind when you're doing this. And also notice that it is a certain length. If you want it longer, simply drag it out. If you want it shorter, simply drag it in. Self-explanatory. Now I'm going to keep mine here, and I'll just play through what we've just done. So you can see we've added the blue. Now the blue to me is super strong, so I'm going to double click it. Notice now we get control over the alpha. So I'm just going to bring that down to 65%, select OK. Play it through. So you can see it's now more of a subtle blue explosion, and it looks pretty cool. And that's going to last the entire video, as you'll see. That's going to stay there no matter what, because we dragged it all the way across. But then coming back down to overlays, a bunch of different overlays to pick from right from here. So for this type of video, I'm going to do the shadow A. Again, I'm going to press the plus button. Notice it's going to be on a different track. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to drag it all the way across. And if we play this through from the beginning, this is what we've just done. So you can see the shadows are now at the bottom, we've got that blue explosions, we've got the transitions all set up, and it is in a matter of seconds. Everything is in Filmora for you to just use. Now let's say, for example, you have the title opener and you want to use this as a thumbnail. A great way to just screenshot it, press in the camera icon over here. That tells you where it's been saved, and it also appears in your project's media immediately. Now let's say you want to see how the effects look one by one. Remember what I showed you earlier when pressing the I. So this one will hide the shadows, which are at the top and the left. This one will hide the blue explosion. This will hide the title. And this is the raw footage. So adding on the shadow, adding on the blue explosion, and of course adding on the text. Now final thing is elements. So another one which is like this title opener we have here. We can have different types of way we can have text appear, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to move across on my timeline, and I'll just get this vintage one and press the plus button. So that's now been added right here. And what this is a badge element. So if I play it through, you can see it pops out, does some cool animation like that, and it's lagging now because there is quite a lot of things going on at once. However, I'm not going to keep that, so I can just press delete. You can play around with this from here. Now one thing I want to show you, notice the audio, like I mentioned earlier, is also involved in the video track. If you want to separate it, just right click your video and notice it'll say detach audio. Now the audio will be on a separate track. It also tells us the exact same as the video name, so we won't get confused if we have multiple audio tracks and multiple video tracks. And for those wondering, how do you open up a transform tool or color correction tool? Well, first of all, I'll do the transform tool. So just double click your video. Notice this is where we get transform, so we get control of the scale, the rotation, and if we want to flip it. We get compositing mode. You probably won't need to change this unless it is an overlay. Then we can stabilize a video from here. Chroma key, so this is removing maybe green screens. Lens correction, so if it needs to be adjusted. And then we get a drop shadow as well. Across there we have color, and here we can control the white balance, the tone, and also 3D LUT. Now the great thing about this, a LUT is actually built in. So if I come here, you can see we can pick from different LUTs right here. So since we've got quite a dark scene here, I'll pick the Harry Potter one. You can see it's just made it a bit darker. I'm going to select OK. I'll just turn off the shadow and the blue explosion. Play it through. You can see that's what the Harry Potter one does. If I take that off, that's without it. And we can do 007 series. Pretty cool. You can edit it in real time and it looks really nice. Then across we get motion. So this is type of motion you can have happening throughout the video. So I will, for example, select this one here, which is the zoom. So it says double click to apply. That's now been applied. As you can see, it's just another way of adding a smooth intro or a smooth effect to the beginning of the video. Now I'm going to be showing you how to speed up the video. So you would right click your video, select speed and duration. From here you can adjust the speed. If you bring it up, of course, this will make it quicker. It also tells us the time of the video, and if you want it to be a specific time, you can control it from here. So we've made the video 2 seconds. We can even reverse the speed. I can select OK. This video is now 2 seconds. That transition is going to take up the whole thing, so I'll just delete that. And if I play this through, that's what we get. Super fierce time lapse in 2 seconds. And of course, if you want to adjust it, you can press Ctrl Z to undo it. You can come back to speed and duration and maybe make it a bit slower. And then for splitting and trimming the clip, if you want to take some off the start, you just come to the beginning and you'll see this arrow here. Just left click and drag it forward. It tells you the duration and also the time you're reducing. Then if you want to trim the end, again, same thing. See that icon and just left click and drag in. And if you want to split a certain area, find that area on your timeline. Remember the shortcut is Ctrl B, or you can come up here and select the slice tool. That's now separated this video from this video, even though they're the same thing. And the final thing I will be showing you is color correction. So the way you bring that up, if you right click the video, you select color correction. This is now where we get control of the color correction. So you can see we get control of the white balance, 3D LUT, the color itself, so you can control everything here, the lighting, HSL, and also a vignette if you want to add that as well. Now if you're new to this, then you can just go ahead and select from a preset and play around with it. So you can see there's even a Walking Dead preset, which is pretty cool. But I'll select Warm Max for now. Just select that, select OK. And you can see that has now changed to Warm Max. So I can play this through. Remember, we didn't adjust this clip on the left, we adjusted the one on the right. So I'll play it through. So you can see that has now changed to that Warm Max filter. Now we're done for the video aspect. Now just to finish off with the audio aspect, there really isn't much to do with audio in Wondershare. But if we head over to the audio tab, let's say we like the beep sound effect, we'll press the plus button. That's going to get added on right here. So you can see it's down here. If I play it through, that's been added on. And again, if you want to adjust the volume, left click and drag it down or drag it up. And you can scroll down so you can see it properly here. And to open up some controls of your audio, just double click it. And you can see we can add a fade in. This is the seconds of the fade in if we want to add it. And notice as we do that, there's also this bar that's moved forward. This is controlling the fade in, so you can control it from here. And then the fade out, which is from there. You can also change a pitch, equalization, so if you want to add a bass boost or something. And remove background noise. Not too sure how well this works as I've never tested it. However, it'd be a good one to test. And once again, if you want to adjust the speed or duration, you just right click it, select speed and duration, and you can see you can adjust it right from here. Anyway, that is it for this tutorial. I hope this has come across as useful. I've tried to cover everything I possibly can in Wondershare Filmora 9. Hopefully you can now get started if you are planning to use it. Everything is super simple to use, everything is right there for you. Definitely give it a try if you haven't already. A link to it will be in the description.